Recently on my main channel, I've been talking a lot about scammers and ne'er-do-wells and bad actors that really try to fleece authors of their rights and their money, but today's guest is anything but that. He's the antithesis to the vanity presses out there. His name is Stanley James II, and he's actually the founder of Gangtail Publications, and he helps authors get their word out into the world and maintain their own rights. That's right, he works with these authors, they keep their copyright, and they're able to get paid for their publications getting out into the world. So this right here speaks to my heart and my love for this business, and to see someone with such a genuinely giving spirit in Stanley is just absolutely motivating. So I want to share Stanley's story with you in today's interview. So without any further ado, let's hear it from Stanley James II. You know, Stanley, we already burnt through a lot of energy just chatting, just getting to kind of meet each other finally. I'm hoping that we can kind of keep that momentum going.
Finally, man, we are long overdue, man. Finally, man. I've been silently studying you, silently following you. Everything you post, every clip, man, is very informative, bro. And I apply it daily into my daily routine. So I'm on you. I'm on you like a chicken on the cob.
I love it. Yes, this man's got some sayings. I like this. So why don't we walk it back just a little bit? Because, I've been following you on Instagram for quite some time, and I've just noticed that what you're doing with your whole brand, with Gangtails Publications, that you're not just helping yourself, you're helping many authors. So if you were to share what is your mission statement with Gangtails Publications?
Well, that was pretty much like my whole mission coming into the starting my publishing company when I started it during the beginning of COVID. So that was a great time for me. But my whole mission was to give back, like the same way I got put on how I entered into the literary world. I feel like it's my justice to give back to those that look like me, come from the same backgrounds, facing the same hardships. So and I also feel like I'm the underground railroad for the voices that's not being seen by the big five publishers.
This
So
is
I just felt like
fantastic.
I
It's
felt
it's
like that was
proven. Yeah, for sure. You're really getting a lot of these authors out here. So why don't we go just a little bit further back? Let's go back to when you first got into writing and publishing. So what drew you into writing and publishing? What was the thing that inspired you to do this?
like I always say, like from every interview, I never aspired to be an author or a publisher. So I never like dreamed like this was gonna be like my professional lane. So I always been an avid reader. I always been a writer. My mom's had all the books, so that's why I grew up. I grew up on poetry. I grew up in the church reciting poems. So like just writing short stories and poems has always been like just my pastime favorite. So and I always took it like I always wrote so much that a lot of people been giving me good like criticism for my work, from the teachers to my friends to my peers.
Yeah.
So fortunately, when I went to jail, I was circulating all my short stories and poems through the jail. So a lot of people like, bro, like, man, like, bro, you really got something for it. Like, you really got the talent, something that you could really go legit with instead of, and look around. Like, it was an OG in there that told me, like, look around you, bro. Look around here. Is this how you really want to spend your next 50, your life? When you could really be out there doing something. That really just hit me. So when I got out, I started with chapbooks. And if you know what chapbooks is, it's just poetry and like short pamphlets, either glued or stapled together. So I
Yeah.
really just took the same like hustle mentality, my same business mind from the streets to the book. So like, let me try something different. I started with the poetry books, which I started with Rad Press. Like we did a joint venture deal. I'm out here in Cali, he's out there in Atlanta, so it just sold out viciously. Like it's selling out so much on the streets, I'm getting the same buzz as I was before I went in with it when I was doing wrong. So then I took a step further, like, man, I got all these stories, short stories. Let me just figure something out. And then at this time, I was going through like a certain phase in my life where it's like I was repeating the same cycle of, being a statistic. So during that time, I was like, man, let me just block everything and let me just really document my whole life, because I don't know if this might be my last time my last on the street. So this is the last thing I want to leave people with. So when I wrote the story, while I was going through, I lost three best friends, and like I was like we was all on the run and all that. So I was documenting that, and then when everything transpired, at the end of the whole year, I looked back at it like, damn, I got a whole complete book. So I just pushed it, and then Terry Broden, I always give a shout out to Terry Roden because he seen me hustling my chapbooks in the street, and he's one of the first black owned book publishers, no breaks. So he was like, man, I seen you hustling with them chapbooks. If you're doing numbers like this and just on chapbooks, let's step it up to the book. Let me show you how to really put it together. Let me show you how to put book tours together. Let me show you everything. But this is the only thing. I'm not going to sign you as an author. I'm going to sign you for a joint book deal. So everything you do, you have to put your own money up, and you have to learn the ropes and do the fails on your own. So that's why I always give him a shout out. So I came out with the book, The Bus, Live by the Gun, Die by the Gun, which is loosely based on my life, you know. So, and that
Yeah.
was like an instant success. So, and then doing that whole process that whole time while I'm learning, meeting, networking, meeting editors, meeting publicists, meeting book clubs, I'm still in my mind like I'm building gang tales up. So
Yeah.
when I followed up with the success of the bus, I came with True to the Streets, and which was an instant success, and that's when I launched Gang Tales Publications. So that's where we at. I can
So
talk a
you,
lot. I can talk a lot. I can ramble.
oh, absolutely. I'm loving the story because I've never really had it broken down directly from you because I've seen some clips, I believe, where you've done some interviews. And of course, I read some of your posts. So this is really fascinating to hear. So what was that step that took it just from fulfilling it for yourself to helping other authors fulfill their dream of being
So
published?
so so while I'm getting recognition for my first two books, Live by the Gun, Die by the Gun, and True to the Streets. I
Yeah.
just got like a big licensing deal with the national bestseller, which is like my sensei, Jaquavis Coleman. Excuse me, he hates when I pronounce his name wrong. So he helps me out. He'll get like a licensing deal for that. So doing all that process, I'm getting letters and kites from the jails and from juvenile centers from these kids, and these kids like in the same how I started growing up, like going through the YA, going to prison. So what they're like, I inspired them through the books. They see me on ABC 7 Channel News. They seen I'm working with several rivals of trying to, and it just really hit me when I just read this one letter. Like, damn, bro, he's only 17. You know, he's a Latino kid. He's in the juvenile system, and like just the feeling and thought of like kids is really actually picking up like my book out of millions of books that's published, and it helped them and it helped them get out and like just change their mindset. So that should like, excuse me, it really messed with me. So like I really got something.
That's really amazing. So when you did publish something for somebody else, how did that compare to you publishing your own work? Did you feel the same love? Was it different?
It's crazy because when I published the first book, the first author that I'm helping with was Trayvon Edwards, and our story is kind of unique because he's a rival gang. I'm from Northside Four Corner Block Crips, and he's from Eastside 20 Crips with Snoop Dogg and Umbrella.
Okay.
So when the streets, just the streets and my like friends alone, when I told them, bro, like it's like I'm really trying to help. It's bigger than gangs and it's bigger than street politics, prison politics. When you go into other neighborhoods, showing these kids that have two grown men can settle their differences and come together and eventually get money together, so they can help the young people that's coming out their own section and help change their mind thinking. That's what really, and then a lot of my friends, they seem like, oh, you working with the ops, oh, you were like, some is going to be like, some is like opposed for it, and then the people that really knows me, like they know my heart and know where I'm coming from. It's not no gimmick, it's not no trying to backdoor you, or this is all just for clout. Like when they really like, bro, we know you, we know where you come from, we know your heart is, we know what you did, so it's like we're gonna stand behind you. So I deal with both sides. But
Yeah,
once that book dropped, it was an instant success. ABC7 News featured us, and it became an instant success. And now we in the talks. We're trying to get it to turn into a film. So
that is incredible.
that
So
that's
you
my goal
definitely,
is to go to different neighborhoods and show that there's females and men that's coming from the streets, coming from broken homes. That someone is watching you. Not necessarily have to be a big five or a major universal record label. Someone is watching you. That all you need is that one person to just change your mind thinking.
I love your DIY mindset. It was something somebody called me a long time ago. They said, you're very punk rock. You get it done. You don't worry about all these other things and what people are doing over there. And I think it speaks volumes with how you represent the people that are underneath your publication imprint. So share with me, like, how many authors are you currently working with, and how many do you plan to expand to?
Well, the goal is my goal is to sign and work with at least two authors from each state, and then each state in America and eventually around the world. So right now I have 7 authors published, but I have 9 authors total. And I have one in Africa and one in Hawaii. So like I'm really trying to go global and international. So when you see this international book tour with Gang Tale, so we could go to every state and we could just turn it up, you know?
That's really, really wild. Could you ever see yourself expanding beyond just doing representing authors? Could you see yourself setting up like a brick and mortar store or an online fulfillment center of something?
I, I could say more online fulfillment center more than a brick and mortar
Yeah,
because game tells is just not one specific location.
gotcha.
It represents everywhere that's not being looked at. If you get what I'm saying.
Right. Right, and as well, you don't have to pay as much overhead. Let's just
Right.
face it. It's brick and mortar is not cheap these days. Speaking of brick and mortar, so I imagine it seems like you really get your clients' books out into a lot of different areas. Share
Right.
with me, how are you getting that type of publicity? How are you able to get it into brick and mortar stores?
Well, pretty much like I use the same ideology as I like from the streets. Like I really grew up in the streets from drug hustling, drug dealing. So, and I figured the same way. If I could I look at corporate business and the streets the same. One is just wear suits and ties, the other is just wear, street clothes, and like is the visual of what you actually see. I actually look at it the same.
Yeah.
So once I figure like, okay, say for instance, I sold dope. If you could have 10 dope houses in one neighborhood, why you can't have 10 libraries and 10 independent bookstores in one city? If you could have runners going around go drop off X and Y or go pick up X and Y, why you can't have runners go drop off, going to out of state or going to different states? So I just really just flipped the whole ideology and just.
So you took this prior experience and just drew the parallels and understanding, and that's how you're able to get the distribution out so easily
My
and so
thing different. I
impactfully.
didn't come up the traditional way. I didn't really have prior high school. I don't really knew about the publishing. I learned as I go, and I get with mentors and people I look up to, people that I can see myself in the next 10 years, like such as yourself. I study them, so that's how I really go about it. I didn't have no master's degree in English business or literature. I just learned everything from the streets, and I just I just learned from the people I look up to. So that's why my story is kind of unique and different from the rest.
Yeah. What do you think is an area you see a lot of authors messing up around? What would you say, like, oh man, I see this a lot, time and again with indie authors, and not with just people that work with you, maybe even
Indie authors,
outside? Yeah.
indie authors. One thing I can honestly say, a lot of people don't want to put the groundwork in. Indie authors, I tell a lot of people, being an independent, especially independent author, you don't have the big funding, the backing. We don't have the big advancements like you would get from these big fives. So pretty
Yeah.
much everything is on your own. And in this independent world, a lot of people don't know just different positions that you still have to fulfill and pay. Just because you wrote a book doesn't mean it's going to be looked at by 10 different eyes or be in 10 different hands. You just wrote the book. You still have to pay
Mm.
someone to go out to the market. You still have to pay somebody to go out there to go edit. You still have to go pay somebody to go get it copyrighted, go get the trademarks, go get the ISBN. It's still a lot of lanes that a lot of people not really understanding when it comes to being independent. It's really costs. It costs a lot. So a lot of people just write books and like I just put it on Amazon. Check how many books come out a day on Amazon in the world. So what makes your book just because you post it on Amazon on the ebook going to make people in Africa see it? Especially being not, and I hate to like bring it up, being a person of color. What person like being independent? So what makes you honestly think out of millions of books that get dropped a day, yours gonna be in the top 10? So a lot of people just write books and don't go outside and don't like to be on camera and talk about their books. Or I'm the type of person. Every person I see, I'm gonna give you a book marker, a card, a book. So you have to get out there and really do the groundwork to being independent. We don't have street teams to go out there like the big five. So a lot of people just write the books and don't put the grind in.
Got to put in that work. So, what are three things that you would say? I know there's probably more. What are three things that you do within your business right now to market and promote your books?
Three things for
Yeah.
me. I
Yeah.
have a street team, so we do really heavy street guerrilla street marketing. We're in the
Yeah.
face. Uh,
How are you accumulating that street team? How are you finding them? Is it like within friends and family, or do you have some followers
both.
that end up?
I use everybody. Everybody has a role to play.
Okay.
So I use friends and family. I also pay people, like pay students. Like to get,
Ah.
that's what I do. Like I'm really outside. I'm the type of person. So I go to all the schools. I go to all the colleges. I find people. I find the kids and the people that's interested in the topics like I like. So we all work a deal. So I'll pay them once every month or every 2 weeks to go distribute, flyers and book, samples. So then I have and I'll be out a lot. So it's like I really be outside. So it's like I'll start from Hollywood and work my way all the way down to San Pedro. I'll hit every city, every event, every book event. Gang tells us popping up in Southern California. Let our presence be known, So it's just
Yeah.
I treat it like a record company. That's how I treat it. You got to make your presence known anywhere in this literary world in Southern California, LA County. Gang tells will be in the building, just represented. So.
You get something I say so often with a lot of authors, and that is the big thing about book marketing and promotions about being visible. And you've made yourself absolutely visible and super available.
Right.
Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're not. You're absolutely correct. Like I said, being independent, we don't have the big marketing budget behind us. So
Yeah.
everything you do comes out your pocket. Everything that goes on, you have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, how bad do you really want yourself to be out there if you want to take your career seriously, or you just want to just write books for for a hobby?
So you started out, your point was, I said three of the things that you focus on for book marketing promotion. You said street team and
So you got to
kind of
have
elaborate
online.
on it. What's the other two actions that you do?
You got to have online presence. You have to. It's 2023. We live in a digital age right now.
Yeah.
So a lot of things is on your phone. A lot of things on tablets. So you have to have heavy content on the internet. You have to.
Where do you find yourself, where do you see the most success being online? So in other words, the attention that you're paying, is that seeing a return on your time spent there? Are you selling books?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. For me, yes. I can say that. Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I get more. It's all equal. I would say it would all equal out from the being the head street presence to the online presence. It equals out
Yeah.
because the online presence gives me places that I'm not. So
Hmm.
definitely have to have online presence.
What are your major areas, would you say, like Instagram,
Like what
Facebook? Do you
platform?
have a website?
YouTube for sure. Everybody follow my YouTube for sure. Uh, uh, I want to say right now, like as in this month June, YouTube for sure. Twitter always been there. Twitter.
Okay.
And it's a new app called Nextdoor.
Next door. What's this?
It's pretty much like Facebook. It's like Facebook,
Okay.
Instagram, everything into one. And the reason why I want to say Facebook and Instagram because my pages get taken all the time. So that's
Really?
why, yeah, that's why
Huh.
I can't never really rely on Instagram or Facebook. Twitter only had one account. Twitter, YouTube, I started all of the accounts at the same time. Those are the only ones that remain. And I post the same content on all platforms. So for sure, YouTube and Twitter for sure. And the Nextdoor right now is Nextdoor app is what I'm on.
Yeah. And about how much time do you say you're spending online or over through social media, more importantly?
Uh, at least about a week because I got
Yeah.
the update. I got the analytics on my phone. Probably like between 30 to 40 hours.
Okay. So you're spending quite a bit of time. Are you ever
I
delegating
treat it,
out duties?
I treat it the same way. I treat it the
Yeah.
same way as a work schedule. Like if you could work
Yeah.
8 hours a day, you would have to really work your book 8 hours a day. So
That's so true.
accumulate over that is 40 hours a week. So you know,
So you've given me two of the 3 points. So what would you say? Street team, online presence, and what would be another third action that you're normally focused on?
this is one thing. One thing I noticed that a lot of people I deal with that's in the levels and in the spaces I am, you have to have influencers, friends. You have to have friends. And what I mean friends by friends is friends that has a name and friends that could vouch for you and validate whatever you say, you know. So, and what I mean by that is my like friends like Zap Judah, friends like Pac-Man Jones in the NFL. You could just have them do one thing, you know, and it'll reach masses. So I would say friends and your network.
That network is huge, man. I ain't gonna disagree with you on that, because being connected with so many people really can help. I mean, the rising tide raises all boats, and as
Your
one
network
person
is your
succeeds,
network.
everybody else does. Yeah.
Right.
Well, we're starting to wrap up, man. I've found that we've blasted through time so fast. In fact, we're already over, but screw it. It doesn't matter. You're a
Well,
special guest this time. What I would like to do is wrap it up with something, and I know you got something in your back pocket on this one here, is what advice do you have for aspiring authors and self-publishers out there?
for aspiring self authors and publishers.
Yeah.
For one, the first thing I want to say, it's a two part answer. For one, get some money. Being independent, a lot of people think I write a book. My first book, second book, third book, fourth book, fifth book, sixth book, independent is going to bring you $100,000 in. It's not. Make sure you have yourself a reliable income coming in, even if that means going to get a real gig, a 9 to 5 job. There's nothing wrong with it, because that's what helps supports and keep your ball running. Like a lot of people get in this book game, especially people of my color and brown color. They like, oh, I wrote one book, 2 books. Now I should be on the New York Times bestseller, or I should have $200,000, or I should get signed to Simon Schuster for 7 figures. Life really is it's like a real gamble. So I always say, get some money. Always get some money. It's going to help you. It's going to save you, and it's going to save you a lot of. It's going to save a lot of hassle. So, and the second part of it is to never said no. Never accept the rejection, especially if you're independent. Never have that feeling of like, just I got 1 no, 2 no, 3 no. I've been doing this. I've been in the book industry for going on 12, 13 years, and I got more no's than yeses. But then yeses definitely outweighs and financially outweighs all the no's I took. So like, never just settle for it, you know?
You've been listening to the Self-Publishing with Dale podcast. Visit us at selfpublishingwithdale.com for more information on how you can level up your self-publishing business. Also, check out our growing video-on-demand service, chock full of free and premium content, when you head over to theselfpublishinghub.com. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving a review on your preferred podcasting platform. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.